The city lights flickered over the high towers of the space colony, casting long shadows across the streets below. In the tallest building, in a glass office filled with screens and holograms, sat Victor Kane, a wealthy human businessman. His hands moved quickly over the keyboard, checking numbers, contracts, and reports, his mind sharp and focused. He had everything a person could want: wealth, power, and influence, but tonight, something felt different, unusual, and tense. The door to his office opened with a soft chime, and Victor turned quickly, expecting one of his assistants, but the room was empty. Only the faint hum of computers filling the silence. A soft voice whispered, almost from nowhere, "Someone's stealing from you." Victor froze, staring around, his heart beating faster. But he saw no one. "Who's there?" he called, his voice firm but tinged with unease. From the corner of the room, a small figure stepped into the light, and Victor's eyes widened. A young alien girl stood there, no taller than a child, her skin glowing softly with a faint blue light. Her eyes were large and shining, her hair flowing like silver threads, and her presence was both beautiful and strange. She looked at him with an intensity that made his chest tighten, as if she could see every secret he had. I don't understand," Victor said, trying to hide his fear. The girl tilted her head, her voice calm but serious. "I am warning you. Someone in your house and your staff is taking what belongs to you." Victor laughed nervously, thinking it was some prank, some trick of the light. "Is this a joke?" "Who are you?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. The alien girl shook her head. "It is not a joke, human. I see what you cannot see. I hear what you do not hear." Before he could ask more, she vanished, leaving only the faint shimmer of her glow. Victor's mind raced, but he tried to dismiss it, blaming fatigue or imagination. He turned back to his screens, but then noticed something odd. One of the reports he had checked earlier now looked different. A file had disappeared. Or maybe someone had changed it, he couldn't be sure. He frowned and called his assistant over. "Check the inventory, check the accounts. Something is not right." The assistant nodded, worried, and left quickly. Victor stayed behind, staring at the empty room, feeling a strange chill run down his spine. The next day, small incidents began to pile up, each one making him more anxious. A missing gadget here, a misplaced document there, tiny errors in the numbers. No one admitted anything, and yet the evidence was there, clear but silent. Victor began to suspect his staff, those he had trusted for years. He watched them carefully, their movements, their eyes, their secret conversations, every small glance, every nervous gesture made him feel more sure that something was wrong. That night, the alien girl returned, silently standing in the shadows of his office. Victor nearly jumped but did not speak this time, only stared. "I told you," she whispered. "The danger is real, the one who steals is clever. But you must act quickly." Victor nodded slowly, realizing she was right. Realizing that he could not wait or ignore the warning, she held out her small hand, a soft glow in her palm, and for a moment, he felt a strange calm, as if her light could guide him through the uncertainty. Then she was gone again, leaving Victor alone with his thoughts. He paced the office, planning his next moves, thinking of every staff member, every hidden corner of his building. Suspicion and fear mixed with determination. A burning need to find the thief before it was too late. The city outside was quiet now, but inside his mind a storm raged. A storm of questions, doubts, and possibilities. Victor knew one thing for certain. Nothing would ever be the same again. As he looked at the security monitors, he saw tiny movements, shadows where there should be none. He remembered the girl's words. "Someone's stealing from you," and shivered. He could not see her now, could not feel her presence, but her warning echoed in his mind. Victor realized the game had begun, and he was both the hunter and the hunted. The night stretched on, filled with tension, fear and anticipation, and somewhere in the darkness, the alien girl watched, waiting, knowing that the next day would change everything. Victor finally sat down, rubbing his temples. His mind racing with possibilities, he whispered to himself, almost afraid to speak too loudly. "I will find them. I will know who is stealing from me." And in that moment, he understood that his life, his empire, and even his trust would be tested like never before. The warning was clear, the danger real, and the mystery had only begun. The morning sun reflected off the glass towers of the space colony, casting sharp patterns across Victor Kane's office. He sipped his coffee slowly, but the taste felt bitter, as if the events of the previous night had poisoned everything. His mind replayed the alien girl's warning. Someone stealing from you, over and over. He knew now that it was not a joke or a hallucination. Someone in his trusted circle was betraying him. Victor called a meeting with his inner staff, a small group who managed the most sensitive parts of his empire. He studied each face carefully, noticing small details, sweaty palms, hesitant glances, fingers tapping nervously on the table. Everyone looked calm on the surface, but beneath that, anxiety lingered like a shadow. He asked routine questions about reports, inventory, and schedules, but every answer was too perfect. Rehearsed, Victor's suspicion grew. He felt a growing sense of danger, as if invisible hands were moving around him. After the meeting, he retreated to his private office, activating extra security monitors. Every corner of his mansion, every hallway, every storage room was under observation. Even the staff quarters were watched through discreet cameras. Victor studied the movements, the timing, the smallest irregularities. It was like trying to solve a puzzle where some pieces refused to fit. That evening, he noticed a strange pattern in the energy readings from the storage rooms. Some devices showed fluctuations, small surges that should not have happened. He compared the timestamps with staff schedules, and the pattern was clear. Someone entered when they were not supposed to. Victor narrowed down his suspects, focusing on those who had access at odd hours. Each one seemed ordinary, loyal even, but the evidence told another story. It was as if the thief had learned to hide in plain sight, confident that no one would notice. The alien girl returned that night, appearing silently in his office, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "You see now," she said softly. "The danger is closer than you think. It hides in trust." "It wears a familiar face," Victor nodded, feeling both fear and relief. Her presence gave him clarity, a strange kind of guidance. She did not intervene directly, but gave hints. Subtle gestures, tiny signs, a look here, a pause there. Victor realized he had to act carefully. One wrong move could alert the thief. He started observing the staff more closely, blending in with their routines. He asked questions casually, noted reactions, and tested their honesty with small traps. Some staff members slipped slightly, a hesitation here, a wrong answer there. Victor's suspicion spread like wildfire. He could not trust anyone completely. The mansion that once felt safe now seemed like a labyrinth of hidden threats and whispered secrets. Late that night, he reviewed footage from the security monitors. One shadow moved strangely in the hallway, avoiding cameras yet somehow leaving traces. Victor paused, rewound, and watched again. It was clear. The thief had skill, patience, and knowledge of the mansion. Someone he considered loyal had been planning this for months, maybe years. The thought made his stomach twist. A mix of anger and disbelief. He remembered the alien girl's words about seeing what humans cannot, hearing what humans do not hear. Victor realized he had been blind, relying on appearances and routine. Now he understood the magnitude of the threat. The thief could steal not only money or technology, but secrets that might destroy him. He had to act, but carefully. Without alerting the enemy, every step would be a test. Every decision a potential trap. Victor spent the night planning, creating simulations, imagining scenarios where the thief was caught or escaped. He prepared questions, set fake records, and watched the reactions of his staff silently. The mansion hummed with quiet energy, the glow of monitors and lights reflecting his tense thoughts. The alien girl appeared one last time before dawn, her eyes steady and wise. "Trust yourself, human, but do not act too soon. The truth will reveal itself when the time is right," she whispered. Then she vanished, leaving Victor alone, more determined than ever. As the first rays of the sun touched the colony towers, Victor felt a strange calm. He knew the danger was still real, but now he had a plan. The thief was close, and every action from this moment could decide the fate of his empire. Victor Kane understood that the game had just begun. He was no longer just observing, he was hunting, and he would not rest until the betrayal was uncovered. And somewhere in the shadows, the alien girl watched, knowing that the next move would test both human and thief in ways no one expected. Victor Kane woke to the soft hum of the colony lights, his mind restless. The previous night had given him no answers, only suspicions, and the weight of betrayal pressed heavily on him. He knew the thief was clever, someone he had trusted, someone who could move unseen in his empire. Every staff member seemed calm, but beneath their smiles, Victor sensed secrets lurking like hidden knives. He decided it was time for confrontation, but not a reckless one. He called individual staff members for private meetings, pretending to discuss routine work. Yet each question he asked was a test, a subtle probe into honesty and behavior. Some answered nervously, shifting in their seats, avoiding eye contact. Others answered with too much detail. Trying to cover tracks, Victor watched carefully, noting small gestures, the twitch of a finger, a gulp, a hesitation. Every action was a clue, every word a possible lie. Meanwhile, the alien girl appeared quietly in the background. Always unseen by others, her glowing eyes followed him, giving him courage and subtle guidance. She did not speak much, but sometimes her gestures hinted at where Victor should focus. A look toward a door, a pause near a monitor, a silent warning. Victor realized he was not alone in his hunt, even if he could not understand all her powers. During one meeting, Victor confronted a senior aide who had worked with him for years. He asked casually about a missing prototype device, watching the reaction closely. The aide smiled, too smooth, too confident, but his hands betrayed him. Trembling slightly, Victor leaned forward. Letting the silence stretch, the aide squirmed, words failing, and Victor felt the truth in that hesitation. He realized the betrayal ran deeper than he had imagined. This was not a small theft. It was organized, patient, and dangerous. Victor continued his meetings through the day, each encounter revealing more pieces of the puzzle. Some staff were innocent, loyal even, while others showed signs of hidden motives. He discovered minor thefts and strange transactions, small clues pointing to a bigger conspiracy. Every step felt like walking a tightrope. One misstep could alert the thief. The tension in the mansion grew. The staff became more cautious, but Victor's presence alone made them uneasy. He sensed whispers in the corridors, unseen eyes watching his movements. The alien girl remained silent but vigilant, her glow a constant, subtle reassurance. By evening, Victor had narrowed his suspicion to a few key people. He planned a direct confrontation, but carefully, wanting to observe reactions rather than accuse blindly. He gathered evidence, small but significant, showing patterns of deception. He called the suspected staff to the main hall, under the pretense of discussing upcoming projects. Victor's voice was calm, measured, but inside, his mind raced with possibilities. He presented the evidence subtly, watching faces, reading every twitch and glance. The confrontation revealed more than Victor expected. Some staff admitted minor mistakes under pressure, but the main thief remained silent, confident, hiding behind lies. Victor felt frustration and anger, but he controlled it, knowing patience was the key. The alien girl's eyes glowed faintly from the shadows, signaling him to hold back. Victor realized he had to lure the thief into a trap, not push for a confession prematurely. He decided to set up a careful test, something the thief could not resist, a bait that would expose the truth. Late that night, Victor reviewed the data again. Tracing every action, every anomaly, he noticed a pattern in the thief's movements, a flaw in their careful planning. It was small, almost invisible, but Victor's sharp mind caught it. The alien girl appeared briefly, nodding subtly, as if confirming his observation. Victor smiled faintly, feeling a surge of hope, knowing he had finally found a weakness to exploit. He understood that confrontation alone was not enough. Observation and strategy were needed. The thief was clever, dangerous, and desperate. Victor planned the next steps, designing a scenario where the thief could not hide. He felt the thrill of the hunt, the tension of the chase. Every moment brought him closer to the truth, and the mansion felt alive with secrets, lies, and anticipation. The alien girl's presence reminded him that he was not alone, that he had guidance beyond human understanding. As midnight approached, Victor prepared his trap, a combination of technology, observation, and careful psychology. He knew that the confrontation was only the beginning. The real test would come when the thief acted again, revealing the full scope of their betrayal. Victor sat back, eyes scanning monitors, heart steady but alert. He whispered quietly to himself, "I will find you. I will know the truth." And somewhere in the shadows, the alien girl watched silently, knowing that the next move would change everything. Victor Kane could feel the weight of the night pressing down on him. Every corner of his mansion seemed alive with shadows, whispers, and hidden movements. He had narrowed the list of suspects, studied their behaviors, and observed their routines. But he knew that suspicion alone was not enough. He needed proof, a way to catch the thief red-handed. He began setting a trap, careful and precise. Victor created a decoy, a small package labeled as highly valuable, stored in a room that appeared lightly secured. The package contained nothing important, but it looked irresistible to someone watching. He programmed the security cameras to record every angle, every movement without alerting the staff. Even the slightest touch, the smallest motion would be captured. The mansion hummed with quiet energy as Victor moved silently through the halls. He adjusted sensors, placed motion detectors, and calibrated the AI systems to flag anything unusual. Every device, every light, every camera was a piece of the trap. He felt the tension in the air, a silent anticipation, knowing the thief would act soon. Meanwhile, the alien girl appeared in the shadows. Her glow soft but steady, she did not speak. But Victor sensed her guidance, her silent reassurance. It was as if she could see the threads of fate, the moves of the thief, and she was nudging him in the right direction. Victor nodded silently, understanding that this trap would require patience and vigilance. Hours passed, the mansion quiet except for the low hum of machines and the occasional sound of footsteps. Victor watched monitors carefully, noting every minor movement of his staff. Then, in the dead of night, a shadow moved toward the decoy package. It was cautious, deliberate, avoiding the obvious paths. Victor held his breath, heart pounding, eyes glued to the screens. The thief reached the package and paused. Scanning the room, Victor could see the hesitation, the nervous glance, the careful steps. Then the shadow touched the package, and instantly, alarms registered silently with Victor's system. Lights flashed, cameras recorded, and the thief froze, realizing something was amiss. Victor activated the next step of the trap, locking the room automatically. He could see the thief now, clearly on the monitors. Trying to escape, panicking slightly, every move was caught on camera. Every attempt to hide evidence documented. The mansion felt electric, tense. Like the calm before a storm, Victor watched, calculating the right moment to confront the thief. The alien girl appeared briefly, her eyes glowing faintly, signaling him to stay calm. Victor understood the subtle message. Do not act too soon, let the trap work completely. He leaned back, observing, feeling a mixture of fear, excitement, and satisfaction. The thief moved again, trying to manipulate the sensors. But Victor's careful planning anticipated every step. It was a dance of shadows, intelligence against intelligence, patience against desperation. Finally, the thief's identity became clear on the monitors. It was someone Victor had trusted for years. A senior aide who had been loyal, or so it seemed. The aide's movements were precise, calculated, yet not perfect. Victor realized the betrayal ran deeper than he imagined. The theft was not for personal gain alone. It had motives connected to hidden powers, alien technology, or secret alliances. Victor prepared to confront the thief physically, but paused for one last check. He reviewed the footage, noting every detail. Every flaw, every hesitation, the alien girl appeared again. Her gaze steady, almost approving. Victor understood that the trap had worked perfectly, and the thief had no escape. He activated the room controls remotely, opening lights and speaking through the intercom. Enough games, he said calmly, voice firm but controlled. I know what you are doing, and I have the proof. The thief froze, realizing the full scale of the situation, panic rising in their eyes. Victor felt the thrill of success, but also the weight of the consequences. This confrontation would change everything in the mansion, in his empire and in his trust toward those around him. The alien girl watched silently from the shadows, her presence calming Victor. He knew the next moments would reveal not only the thief's actions but also their intentions. The trap had exposed the betrayal, but the story was far from over. Victor Kane was ready, determined, and guided by forces beyond human understanding. The thief was caught, the evidence undeniable. And yet the deeper mysteries of loyalty, power, and danger were only beginning to unfold. Victor Kane stood in the main hall, watching the thief struggle under the bright security lights. The cameras had captured everything, the careful planning, the secret movements, the hidden tricks. Victor felt a mixture of anger and disbelief. He had trusted this person, and now betrayal stood clear before him. The senior aide looked defeated but defiant, his eyes darting nervously toward Victor, searching for a way out. You have been stealing from me, Victor said calmly, his voice controlled but sharp. The aide swallowed hard, trying to steady himself. I had no choice, he stammered. Victor raised an eyebrow, curiosity mixed with suspicion. No choice? Explain, he demanded. The aide hesitated, then began speaking, his voice low and shaky. He told a story that shocked Victor, a story of threats, hidden agendas, and forces beyond his understanding. "The alien technology you have," the aide said, "it is valuable to more than humans. I was being watched, blackmailed, forced to take what I could before they found me. If I refused, my life and my family would be in danger." Victor felt a chill, realizing the theft was not for personal gain alone. It was part of a larger, more dangerous scheme, something that even he had not imagined. The alien girl appeared silently, her glowing eyes fixed on Victor. She nodded subtly, confirming the truth in the aide's words. Victor understood now that the stakes were far higher than money or corporate secrets. This was about interstellar forces, hidden powers, and technology that humans could barely comprehend. The theft had been only the first step, a signal of something greater, something approaching. Victor's mind raced as he connected the pieces. The strange energy fluctuations, the missing files, the hidden movements all pointed to a larger conspiracy. He realized that some of his staff might have been unwilling participants. Forced by fear, others had acted knowingly, seeking power, profit, or protection. The mansion he had thought secure was a stage for a dangerous game, one he had only begun to understand. The aide continued, confessing names, methods, and hidden alliances. Victor listened carefully, absorbing every detail, recording every word in his mind. He realized that immediate action was needed, that firing a few staff was not enough. He needed to understand the full scope of the threat and neutralize it completely. The alien girl's presence gave him insight, her eyes reflecting knowledge humans could not see. Victor decided to confront the remaining conspirators carefully. He planned to separate those acting under duress from those acting willingly. The mansion would become both a fortress and a trap. He would catch the guilty, protect the innocent, and secure his empire from hidden dangers. The revelation had changed everything, his perspective, his trust, and his strategy. That night, Victor reviewed every report, every security feed, every anomaly again. He identified patterns, connections, and weaknesses. The aide who had confessed would now help him, providing knowledge to prevent further breaches. Victor realized that betrayal and loyalty were intertwined. Some who had appeared loyal were compromised. Some who had appeared guilty were victims. The alien girl appeared once more, hovering silently in the corner. Her voice was soft but firm. "The danger is not gone, human, but now you see clearly. Use the knowledge wisely, act decisively, and trust what you cannot see." Victor nodded, feeling a sense of resolve. He had the revelation, the understanding, and now he could act. As the night deepened, Victor made calls, reorganized security, and reinforced loyalty. He set plans to monitor all staff and track every movement. The mansion, once a place of comfort, now became a fortress of vigilance. Victor knew that the thief had revealed more than just crime. They had revealed the existence of hidden threats, unseen enemies, and a world beyond human perception. By dawn, Victor felt a strange calm, tempered by readiness. The revelation had shown him the truth, the danger, and the necessary path forward. He looked at the empty halls, the silent cameras, and knew that every step from this moment would test him. But he was prepared, guided by the alien girl, armed with knowledge, and strengthened by resolve. The empire was his, but now he understood the fragility of trust, the weight of secrets, and the power of insight. Victor Kane had seen the betrayal, faced the thief, and understood the stakes. The revelation was complete. But the next phase, action, purification, and protection, was about to begin. And somewhere in the shadows, the alien girl watched silently, knowing that the true test of loyalty and courage had only just begun. Victor Kane moved silently through the mansion, his mind sharp, his eyes alert. The revelation from the previous night had changed everything. He knew that action was needed, swift and decisive, to remove the threat and restore security. The staff, once familiar and trusted, now walked under a shadow of suspicion. He began with the first group, the minor culprits who had acted under pressure. Victor called them one by one, explaining what he knew. Some admitted their mistakes, trembling. They were scared but honest, and Victor decided to give them a chance to cooperate. Their fear and guilt were evident, and he knew they would now help secure the mansion. Next came the senior staff, the ones whose betrayal had been more calculated. Victor confronted them in the main hall, the bright lights revealing every expression. Some tried to lie, deny, or shift blame. Victor's eyes were sharp, reading every movement, every hesitation, every micro-expression. The alien girl hovered in the shadows, her soft glow watching, guiding, and giving him quiet support. Victor did not raise his voice. He did not shout. He let the evidence speak. Showing the security footage, the stolen files, and the hidden movements, some staff froze, realizing the web of lies had trapped them. Others grew angry, but Victor remained calm, firm, and unyielding. "I trusted you," he said quietly, "and you betrayed that trust knowingly or not. This ends today." He began purging the corrupted staff one by one, firing them immediately, restricting access to sensitive areas, and monitoring their movements. Some begged for mercy, offering excuses or promises, but Victor knew words could no longer protect them. He had to act decisively, for the safety of his empire and the lives of those loyal to him. The mansion was no longer just a home or a workplace. It had become a fortress, a place of judgment and protection. The alien girl guided him subtly, pointing out inconsistencies, subtle gestures, and behaviors he might have missed. Her insights revealed hidden dangers, secret alliances, and staff who were still under influence of unknown forces. Victor realized that even among the loyal, some had been unknowingly manipulated. He made careful choices, separating the truly innocent from the guilty. Those who could be saved were given guidance and protection. Those who had chosen betrayal were removed completely, unable to threaten him or his empire again. The mansion hummed with tension, alarms silent but ever present. Victor moved through the halls like a shadow, observing, listening, controlling. Every action he took sent a message: loyalty was rewarded, betrayal punished, and deceit would not be tolerated. The staff understood now that Victor Kane was not a man to be fooled. Even the minor culprits felt the weight of the purge. Understanding that trust was fragile and consequences were real, Victor paused for a moment, looking at the empty corridors. The alien girl appeared, her glow soft and reassuring. "You have done well, human," she said softly. "But vigilance must remain. Not all threats are visible. And not all dangers come from within," Victor nodded. Feeling both relief and determination, he had acted decisively, yet he knew this was only one step in a larger challenge. As the night deepened, Victor reinforced the security systems. He upgraded the sensors, created new protocols, and ensured that every movement in the mansion could be monitored and traced. Even the loyal staff understood the necessity of these measures. The mansion became a place of both safety and discipline. Victor Kane had purged corruption, protected the innocent, and reclaimed control, yet, even as he completed the purge, a small unease lingered. The alien girl had warned him that not all threats were human. Victor understood that he had faced betrayal, but the universe held larger mysteries. The purge had restored order, but it had also revealed the fragility of trust in the depth of danger. Victor Kane felt stronger, wiser, and more vigilant. He had faced deception, confronted betrayal, and acted decisively, but he knew that the final chapter, the resolution, the consequences, and the true test of his strength was still ahead. Victor sat alone in his office, the mansion quiet around him. He reviewed every action, every decision, and every outcome. The alien girl watched from the shadows, her eyes reflecting understanding and wisdom. Victor knew he had survived the purge, had restored control, and had protected his empire. Yet he also knew that the universe was full of surprises, challenges, and unseen dangers. The night ended with both victory and vigilance, a moment of calm before the next storm. Victor Kane had purged corruption, but his journey was far from over. The first light of dawn spilled across Victor Kane's mansion, casting long shadows through the halls. The purge was complete, the corrupted staff removed, and the loyal ones now safe under his watch. Victor moved slowly through the rooms, noting the quiet, the absence of whispers and secret movements. The mansion felt different, almost alive with a sense of order restored, yet tinged with lingering tension. He paused in the main hall, looking at the empty corridors and the silent security monitors. For the first time in days, he allowed himself a deep breath, feeling relief and satisfaction. The betrayal had been confronted, the thief exposed, and the empire secured. Yet he knew trust would need to be rebuilt carefully, slowly, one choice at a time. The alien girl appeared again, stepping lightly into the hall. Her soft glow filling the room. Victor looked at her, understanding that she had guided him through the danger, unseen yet always present. "You have done well, human," she said quietly. "You acted decisively, yet wisely. The threats were real, the danger high. But you have survived and learned." Victor nodded. grateful yet aware that her words carried more meaning than he could fully grasp. Over the next days, he reorganized his empire, strengthening security, improving monitoring systems, and mentoring loyal staff. He shared responsibility carefully, ensuring that no single person could wield enough power to betray him again. The mansion became not just a home but a fortress, a symbol of vigilance, wisdom, and careful control. Victor walked the halls often, observing quietly, noting small details, and maintaining the balance between authority and trust. The alien girl spent more time near him, watching, sometimes speaking in quiet warnings or subtle hints. Victor learned to rely on her insight, to trust what he could not see or understand fully. Their bond grew, not of friendship, not yet of trust fully, but of mutual understanding. He knew she would leave eventually, as her presence was not meant to be permanent. Yet her guidance had been crucial, her intervention subtle but life-saving. One evening, as the sun set across the colony towers, Victor reviewed the events that had unfolded. He thought of the thief, the staff, and the hidden dangers he had uncovered. He realized that betrayal was not always personal. Sometimes it was necessity, fear, or manipulation. The universe was wider than his understanding, filled with forces, powers, and motives humans could barely comprehend. Victor Kane had survived the storm, but he knew vigilance must remain. Always in the quiet of his office, the alien girl finally spoke, her voice calm and firm. There will be more challenges, human. Dangers that cannot be seen, and tests that cannot be predicted. But you have learned the value of observation, patience, and decisive action. Victor nodded, feeling a strange mixture of pride and humility. He knew he was stronger now, wiser, and prepared for what might come that night. As the mansion settled into silence, Victor reflected on the lessons learned. He understood that control came with responsibility, and power required constant vigilance. The purge had been harsh but necessary, removing corruption and securing loyalty. The empire was intact, the staff trustworthy, and the mansion safe for now. Yet he could not forget the subtle hints from the alien girl about dangers still hidden. As he turned off the lights and prepared to rest, a faint shimmer appeared in the corner of the room. The alien girl's form glowed softly, almost like a promise and a warning. Victor felt a strange calm mixed with anticipation, knowing that this chapter had ended. But the universe, vast and mysterious, would not remain quiet for long. He whispered quietly to himself, "I am ready for whatever comes next." Outside, the colony thrived under the morning sun. Unaware of the hidden dangers that had been neutralized, Victor Kane walked the halls one last time. Confident yet watchful, the alien girl vanished silently, leaving only a faint glow in the air. Victor knew he had been changed, stronger, wiser, and more aware of the fragility of trust. The aftermath was peaceful, but it was only the calm before the next storm. In the distance, subtle signals flickered through the security systems, small anomalies that could be nothing, or could be the beginning of a new challenge. Victor smiled faintly, ready, determined, and guided by insight beyond human understanding. The empire was safe, the lesson learned, and the future uncertain yet promising. And somewhere unseen yet present, the alien girl watched. Knowing that Victor Kane was prepared for the trials to come,